Hello again YouTube, my name is Bree and in today's video I'm basically just playing with a new brush. So this brush I bought for Justin Donaldson's Gouache 2.0 course. I don't have a lot of large brushes and or really any large brushes, so he recommended this brush for the course and I decided to go for it. It's a Rosemary & Co. red dot in size 4. He also recommended the size 2, so I bought the size 1. So I bought the size 4, size 1, and their smallest size. And this is the first time I'm really playing with it at its full capacity. If you saw my last video where I did the sketchbook tour of the miniature 1.5 by 1.5 inch sketchbooks, I did paint one of those paintings using that paintbrush. It's just because it was such a small painting, I only used the very tip of the paintbrush, so it really didn't test its full capabilities. Now, it doesn't necessarily make sense to test a brush I bought for a gouache class on watercolors, but this is more my comfort zone, so if I really struggled with this in watercolors or had issues with it using it with watercolor, it would help prepare me better for using it in a medium I'm not quite as comfortable with, so it made sense in my head. As for the rest of the supplies, the sketchbook is the Etchr B5 sketchbook with cold pressed paper, and the paint is the Michael Harding watercolors. I did want to do something kind of simple because this really was about testing the brush itself. So when I looked for reference photos to do a study, I really was drawn to the reds in this particular one, and the watercolors in this set just has some really gorgeous reds. Now it's a set that I picked out myself, and the colors are nothing exclusive Michael Harding. I just never had quinacridone coral in any other brand, and so I'm still really fond of this one. It's very new to me. So when I want very specific reds, I'm going to draw this one out. I don't use it enough because the ceramic palette doesn't close very well, so it doesn't stand vertically like my other paint palettes, and I have to put in a drawer, and then I generally forget it exists until I'm looking for those reds again. So it really is the quinacridone coral that makes it unique to me, but I really love the alizarin claret too, which, to be fair, I have alizarin in numerous palettes, so it's not the most unique, and it's more of the rosy version, so I have a lot of colors similar to it elsewhere. Otherwise, yeah, this is a pretty simple study, so I don't have too much to say about it. I will try to remember to put the link in the comments below or the description below. I didn't follow the reference too well. I was pretty tired and I was mostly focused on just getting a feel for the brush itself, so the likeness isn't really there, but that's okay. Now for the brush itself, I definitely am struggling a little bit, and it's not the brush, it's me. So if you saw where my hand placement was at the beginning of this video, it was up nice and high where the brush narrows out, but over time my hand drifts lower and lower, and I think part of that is me trying to just overly control the brush. The problem is because it's a larger brush than I'm used to, as my hand drifts lower, I find myself suddenly grabbing the bristles and not the brush itself. So that is definitely something I have to get used to, or it's quickly going to become an issue. Otherwise, it's just a bigger brush than I'm used to. So maybe I'm just a little out of practice, and it doesn't feel heavy. It's not like my hand strained or anything, but maybe it's just large enough that I'm drifting without realizing it. Towards the end of the painting, I'm finding myself having a harder time making those really fine marks I'm able to make early on, like those little hair strands I just did. Later on, they're quite chunky, so I don't keep up that consistency, and I think that was me. It wasn't the brush. Otherwise, yeah, so far, really good first impressions with this brush. I'm definitely looking forward to using it in the gouache class and taking the gouache class in general. Otherwise, for the painting itself, one thing I did want to be careful of was that flower, the rose in her hair. In the reference photo, it is an artificial flower, and it does look fake, like the petals are really thick, but it is something that I was worried about wasting too much time on when it's not the focal point of the painting. So I'm just giving myself props for how I abstracted it, which was my goal. I definitely didn't want to spend too much time noodling with the flower. I don't do a lot of florals, or basically any florals, so that one definitely could have overwhelmed me easily, so I'm giving myself credit on that one. Otherwise, I don't have too much to say about the brush yet or the painting in general. It was just a little study and it was nice and relaxing, and the brush so far, so good. So hopefully that stays the case and I get used to it and stop drifting and making lines that are fatter than I mean to. So practice makes perfect. Otherwise, being that the class is just started, I will probably be pretty busy over the next couple months between work and the class itself, so I don't want to overcommit myself. I definitely won't be recording myself doing homework. For one, it probably isn't fair to share course content in general. Like sharing final paintings is fine, but techniques and stuff that are learned from the class, it just feels wrong. But also, the process of recording something is inherently more stressful, and when you're trying to focus on things you're learning and studying, it makes a lot more sense just to focus on the painting itself and the things you're trying to internalize as you paint it. So if I don't have time on top of the class, I just won't make videos, and I will come back as soon as I wrap up. Hopefully everything goes well and I'm able to mostly keep up. This first week though, I'm probably going to fall behind because I'm going out of town twice this week, and it's just a lot of stuff in general. So it's a very stressful week. But hopefully after that things calm down and I could really focus on this class because I'm very excited about it. So let's see what else. I really don't have too much to say about the painting. There is a section where I am painting that I lose a little footage. That is my camera just suddenly thought the memory card got corrupted, so I lost a very little section from the second filming session on it. I don't think it's overly noticeable, but apologies for that. And then I'm just having some technical difficulties with recording because the playback speed seemed to have been slower than, so I recorded more audio than I had footage, and I'm mad that I'm recording again because I was so ready to go get ready for bed because I'm exhausted. But that's okay. But yeah, it seems to be fixed now after a nice restart. So hooray for that. But yeah, mostly I just wanted to check in and, well, play with this new brush. But yeah, if I do disappear, I will be back soon. Otherwise, hope you're all doing well and taking care of yourselves. Hanging in there. It's been a crazy month so far. It's been a crazy year so far. And that's all I'm going to say on that subject. Otherwise, quick updates before I disappear again. If I do disappear, Juno is doing quite well. There it was. That was the where I lost some footage. It was a little bit more noticeable than I remembered. Juno is doing pretty well, so at least that's going well. Juno's my cat. If you're new here or hadn't heard before, she has small cell lymphoma, and hopefully the next time we see the doctor in April, she'll be in remission. So crossing our fingers there. But yeah, otherwise, there's not much I can share. This part, though, was fun. I definitely tried when I was doing the hair to really play with warm versus cool. So some areas I got to play more brown, some more blue, more purple. And I really enjoyed just keeping the hair really simple, but playing with color. Definitely made marks that this is where I really started to notice I was losing a little control, making thicker marks than I intended, especially with those loose hair strands. And also the back of the head, I just put down the brush too hard. And then at this point, it's also where I start to lose control of my hand, and I keep putting my hand in wet paint without noticing I'm even putting my hand down. So yeah, I really don't know what's going on there, but I keep having to clean it up, and then I do it again. So I'm quite mad at myself about that. And I just did the same thing while doing a little gouache practice too. So I don't know, maybe I just need more rest. That being said, I really don't have much else to say. In general, I guess for this particular one, I did want to include, she had a little scar on her arm. I'm assuming that's from a smallpox vaccine, and I felt it would be kind of rude to remove it because there's no shame in having a scar. So I left that there, but I don't think I did justice. I just wanted to explain what that little squiggle was. Like I said, I'll try to put the reference photo in the link below. I think I closed the what's it called? I closed the webpage I was referencing, so I have to find it. And if I can't find it, I'll look it up in the future when I have a bit more time and add it then. The only other thing I wanted to say is to anybody else who may have been trying to find me on social media, because I did get at least one comment about it. I did close basically all my social media accounts except for this one, so I apologize. Eventually I'll go back on something, but at the time I don't have Instagram or Mastodon or anything else that's active or open. Some of them are completely closed and some of them are just abandoned. So maybe one day. I just don't have the mental energy to start up a new social media account right now, so it is what it is. And then yeah, for some reason my brushes fell over. So those brushes are not involved in the painting process. They just decided to collapse on my desk. So that was random. Having a lot of weird issues between the corrupted footage, the brushes attacking me, and my audio ending up way longer than it needed to be. So maybe I'm being haunted by a really boring ghost. Yeah, I got nothing else. So I hope you're all doing well and taking care of yourselves. Self-care is important. Make sure you do it. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and sign off now. I do a couple little things after I finish filming just because I finally got a chance to get more on top of the painting and make some of the finer details, especially on the eyes where I couldn't really do it with the big brush while filming. Sometimes it just helps to be way too on top of your painting and nobody wants to see the back of your head, so that's fine. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign off and get ready for bed. Take care, and I hope to see you in a future video. Bye now.